Hello Pisces, and welcome to your monthly horoscope for November for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to give you the key strands to look out for, including focusing on your two rulers of Jupiter and Neptune. But then I'm going to dive deep to give you in much greater detail all the key ins and outs affecting your sign. So please stay with me for that. Now Jupiter is very much about growth, but in terms of its rulership of your sign, it's about our highest potential. Jupiter is in a retrograde this month through to the 23rd, but it does forge a sensational link with Pluto in your sector of future hopes and friendships. There could be one relationship that really galvanizes you this month. Be aware that Jupiter is broadly in a right angle with Mars in your sector of home and emotion and family. But you also have Neptune in your sign, your other ruler, squaring Mars. So there could be a little bit of confusion about where to live. You may be thinking very carefully if you want to continue in your current residency or improve it. Or it may be an issue to do with your family that's really engaging you. But because Neptune can be a bit distorted, just be aware that the boldness of Mars's broad right angle with Jupiter suggests part of you may really want to go for something, and I would just be a little cautious. Finally, the gathering of energy in your sister water sign of Scorpio really gives you a zest for widening your horizons at the start of this month. Later on in November, it's much more about career, work and responsibilities. So much to share with you, and I'm really looking forward to doing that. If you would like to ascend above zodiac astrology and understand what year 2023 will hold for you as an individual, if you give me 3 pieces of birth data of time, date and place, I can give you your year 2023 forecast. If you order now in 22, the rest of this year free. But also in my special package of 30% off, your personal roadmap, your character analysis, which can highlight both repetitive strands that have been more challenging, but also the opportunities to grow and thrive even more. Please see the link beneath this video. If you're new to my channel, I'd be honoured if you would subscribe. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for all your views. So Pisces, as you make your way into November, so the Sun, Mercury and Venus are all in the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio, of course, is very much about passion, can be about intensity. It means that when it comes to your philosophies, I think you're quite invested in them. But if you do have a chance to broaden your world through travel or what you read or your interests, this can be a really positive start to the month because the Sun's very closely aligned to Venus. So if you do go off somewhere, I think it's really going to feed your senses in a very helpful and therapeutic way. Also, travel linked to culture or history, go into places that aren't just the sunspots can actually be very gratifying for you. You can gain an awful lot of uplift from this. But of course, we are all dealing with a fundamental financial change in our situations. And I think the 9th house energy of the Sun, Venus and Mercury is inspiring you and can inspire you to think about ways that you can be more flexible and try to approach things in a different manner. Now, by the 8th, we do have a lunar eclipse, a total lunar eclipse in the sign of Taurus, which for you is everyday communication. Now that's been a disruptive area over the last few years because Uranus has been there, and Uranus does feed into this event along with Saturn in your 12th house. Now Saturn square Uranus for Pisces people over the last couple of years has not been a walk in the park. There may have been times when you felt quite isolated or disconnected from people or even wanted to be, but there's another part of you that may have felt that your nervous system was really over aroused, a lot of cortisol pushing through your veins, and that's been challenging. maybe your physical vitality has been affected too. And all this comes up to the boil in this total lunar eclipse. But the sun is very close to Mercury on the actual event, and Mercury in the ninth house can give you an appreciation of how knowledge can change your situation for the better. So you could have some powerful discussions over the next 6 months that help you to understand what makes you tick at a deeper level. Saturn in the 12th house. There may be some painful lessons, there may even be some painful separations, but I think you're going to become much more informed, and that's the opportunity of this total lunar eclipse. But on the 16th, Venus, followed by Mercury, move into the sign of Sagittarius, which for you is house 10. This is how you connect to the wider world. Of course, your traditional ruler of Jupiter also governs the sign of Sagittarius. The sun moves on the 22nd into Sagittarius, and then there is a new moon on the 23rd. But on that day, Mercury and Venus are exactly conjunct. Your ability to sparkle, approach things in a fresh way, can really capture the imagination of someone influential, whether it's through a presentation, an interview, or just going about your everyday role. Your personality power and your gravitas are definitely going to be elevated towards the end of this month, with Jupiter also coming to the end of its retrograde on the 23rd, but still supported by Pluto all through this month. I feel that you're really coming into your power as November comes to a close. And I'll just reassure you that the very debilitating right angle between Saturn and Uranus really does come to a close at the end of this month. There's a couple of days in December where they're within 3 degrees of the exact right angle, but as we go into December they're stretching out. That's because Uranus is continuing to retrograde and Saturn is moving forwards. Now Saturn's going to be moving into your sign on the 7th of March next year, which begins a whole new cycle for you. Wherever Saturn is, it brings lessons, but it's going to be asking you to relaunch yourself in some kind of new but much more streamlined and disciplined way. I think what you're going through at the moment is clearing things up from what's gone on really over the last, it depends how old you are, but if you're older, the last 27 and a half to 29 and a half years, and you're just tying things up. So there may be some things that you can want to liberate yourself from, be more independent from, the 9th house energy at the start of this month. And if you break the chains of restriction, it will free you up to really seize goals and ambitions that are important to you in the second half of this month.